What's up, everybody? It's your boy Simon from Typing T, C, G. And yes, I still have the cards on the ground. I eventually will pick them up, but just not now. You can't tell me what to do. And we're back at it again. And again, the People's Boltyn is here. So kind of like how I talked about in the Lexi video, I played Boltyn in the Battle Hardened. And when I was 3-1 at the top tables, up 30 life against Drama, I had a lot of people surrounding me going like, "Oh my gosh, it's a Boltyn." And there were a total of 2 Boltyns at the whole entire event, and I was one of them. And I was sitting at the top tables throughout a decent amount of the Battle Hardened. And I was facing really good players. I even was able to beat 2 matchups I didn't think I could beat. I beat a Lexi and I beat a Oldham. I didn't get to go against the Icelanders. That was like the other polarizing matchup I was kind of nervous about. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go against that. But when you bring out the Greater Boltyn, your opponent knows that they're in for some trouble. And I had tons of fun playing this deck. This was a deck that I'm not high on in the meta overall, but in this current field, if you're able to dodge the ice decks, I think you have a really good matchup into most of the decks, especially the aggro decks, as they can't really interact with your combo. Like, when you're swinging 3 or 4 times with sabers, and they're coming in for 5 and 6, like, what is an aggro deck gonna do? Block out? You're like, cool, I'm gonna deal damage to you, gain life, and just time walk you. And you will lose that game every single time if you let the Boltyn do that. So yeah, I had tons of fun today. Got a lot of compliments on my Boltyn play. A lot of people were just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know Boltyn could do that," or "Wow, I can't believe people weren't playing Boltyn." It's just, I explained to them, I was just like, I'm pretty decent at Boltyn. And I'm just attacking what I think the current metagame is, and I think Boltyn had a decent shot. Now, what I told a lot of people on the surface is like, I'm just here to ruin one person's day, which obviously I'm memeing when I say that, but in reality, I was like, if there's a lot of aggro at the event, which there was, I have a pretty decent shot against most of them. Funny enough, the games I lost were against aggro decks, which is funny enough, and then I beat the non-aggro decks. But this hero treated me very well, specifically today at the Battle Hardened. And let's just get into it. So the way I have this broken down, I'll do all my IRL deck techs. I have obviously the hero, the equipment, and I have this separated into different categories. So our category here is our cards that charge, that have the ability to charge on them. We have our generic damage cards. We have our defensive cards. Here we have cards that help us dig. We have our combo cards. We have this category is our poppers for illusionists, and then we have our ice card. So obviously start with Sir Boltyn. For those who don't know what it does, the reason I'll explain because it's not a very common hero. He's a hero with 4 intellect, 40 health. That part's obvious. If you've charged this turn, attacks you control get +1. If someone defends an attack action card, so this de-incentivizes people to block. And if they do block, they want to block with a non-attack, because if they block with an attack action, they're susceptible to still taking damage and getting a card out of their hand. So Boltyn's pretty good in that. And he has an attack reaction built into him. If the power of the card is higher than its base, you can banish card from soul, give it go again. We have, I only run these equipment to every single hero. This may change. I actually might find a way to bring some no rune in. I don't know what slot I would take out for the no rune. Maybe the headpiece would probably be what I'm looking at. No rune hood. It is the most medium card in the what's it called? The equipment is my headpiece. So I'm not sure yet. I'll have to do some more testing and find a conclusion from there. But we're running Halo of Illumination. What this has Spell Void 2. As an instant, you can pay red, destroy it, put a card from your hand into your soul. If it's a light card, you draw a card. So, pretty much, what you can do is, like, a lot of times I like to go second, specifically because I can do stuff like this, is I can, on your turn, pitch a card, put a card in my soul, draw a card, go from there. If I go first, I can pitch like a yellow or a blue. Pitch this card, draw a card, have a card from so. One specific play I did, not gonna go ahead and spoil it, is I had Celestial Cataclysm, I pitched it at one floating. I put a random card in my so, I drew a card. Then with my one floating, I played V for Vanguard, charged 2 cards. So at the beginning of my first turn, I had 3 cards in so, which is absolutely huge. Because on average, I like to have at least 5 cards in so when I combo off. And this just allows you to get there a little bit sooner. This also allows you to draw a card, which is also a thing. The biggest thing you want is to be able to get to your combo pieces. This just digging you one card deeper obviously is important. Every single card you see additional to anything else is obviously good. We play Courage of Bladehold. This is the only thing you're going to play. This is a pure combo list. This is not a Switch Boltyn list or a Raiden list. So we're always going to play Courage of Bladehold. The good thing about this, obviously, is it's 2 block. The only downside is temper. It feels battle worn. I actually genuinely do think Boltyn would be much better than he is. Because Boltyn doesn't really have much of a fridge. At least when it comes to equipment. When it comes to hand, yeah, he's fine. He can easily block 6 a turn. But if this just had Battle Worn, this could block for 3 and stay around. That'd be really nice. Because the issue is you'll get 1 block out of this. It pretty much has Blade Break. But not really. It has 6 suited Blade Break. Because once you block with this once, you're never blocking with it again. Because then you physically cannot combo out. But it's making your shortcast talks for attack free. Obviously, enables your combo. We have Gallantry Goat as our only arm piece. This does have Battle Worn, blocks for 1, so kind of helps out a little bit. Paying a red to boost the weapon attacks for the turn. If you have extra mana on your combo turn, obviously paying into this will net you 6 to 8 damage to a turn. Sometimes even more, just depending on how they block. We have Snapdragon Scalers as our only boots. The big thing we do with this, obviously, is we attack and charge with a card. We give it go again. And then that's how we reach our combo. Because the big thing is you're going to have to be able to charge a card and then go with your combo. And this is really the only way to do it without playing Take Flight. Obviously, you can banish cards from Boltyn to do it, but you're going to really need a mass of cards to be able to do it, especially if you're Beacon of Victoring to get your second combo piece. Snapdragon Scalers just makes it a lot simpler. You need less factors going on. And then my favorite part of the whole entire deck, I'm playing Sabers and Sparkly Sleeves, if you can see. They're facing the same direction, and one's white border, one's thing. The amount of people I triggered with this is the exact reason I did it, and I would never go back. I was going to actually buy Code Full Sabers at the event. They were going for, I think, only 1,000. Or something, because they were like first edition. But seeing how many people got triggered over this, I will never, and I do mean never, not play these. I will trigger every single one of my opponents from now on by doing this. So that's the equipment, and that's the hero. We're actually going to go start here. So, just to get this kind of out of the way, we do play 3 Whisper the Oracle. The reason why this just says dig 4 cards deeper into your deck, or set up the top of your deck. A lot of times I'm playing this, the really nice thing about this is it's 0 cost with Go again. I can just send like 4 cards from the top of my deck to the bottom of the deck if none of them are combo pieces, and then do other stuff. What this also allows you to do, as long as you have a decent amount of cards in your show, this allows you to block with 3 cards instead of the 2 on average that you would like to cleanly block with. And then just say, my turn is just going to be, I opt for. If you're just opting for on your turn, you're still satisfied. But you're digging yourself more towards your combo. So I think this card really overperformed. Also does have the block 3, which is very important. This had block 2. I almost don't know if I'd even play it. Because like I said, the biggest thing with Boltyn is just to be able to cleanly block 6 damage. And then come back with a charge. The difference between 5 and 6 can be very huge sometimes, depending on the opponent you're going against. And just having the extra block there is super freaking clutch. Next, we're going to go through all the charge cards. This is going to take a while, so let's get into it. V for Vanguard. This is a card that I think I was misusing a lot until I just had like some aha moment during the Battle Hardened. So originally this card was only specifically only there to combo off. So a lot of times V for Vanguard would be the card I play on the chain to combo off, and that's the only thing I had for it. But the things I learned throughout the Battle Harden was this is a card that I really like pitching early so I can see it later in my chain, because when I banish all the stuff and I do lose some gas, this can help me push a lot of damage in the late game. Also, seeing this very, very early, like especially like turn 1, turn 2, you can just pitch a card and just charge 2, sometimes 3 if it's from your arsenal. And I definitely think you'll take that, because now if you're charging 2, it's coming in for 5 with the opportunity to have go again, because you have cards in your arsenal. Or this could come in for 6. Even if it's just coming in for 4, like, this is still nice, because it pumps everything else for the rest of the turn. Obviously, I'm pouring blocks for 3. And I definitely was misusing this card before, and I now see what the power of what this card is. Love the card. Next, we'll have... And for some reason it's mismatched, but that's fine. We have Rainbow Bolt Courage. This is one of the better charge cards in our deck, especially against like the Dromai matchup and all that stuff. Being able to say, this is just coming for 2, but I'm going to need you to give me a card, or I get to pretty much cycle another card, is really nice. Especially again into Dromai, because this doesn't have to hit a hero. You can go Bolt of Courage, just the blue. Bolt of Courage for 1, kill an Atheling, draw a card. I've charged this turn. I'm satisfied with everything. It is very nice. I also think one of the big things is this is actually my preferred card to start my combo off with now, if I have Beacon of Victory as one of the cards I have. So I can go Bolt of Courage, charging, any blocks, go to reactions, Beacon of Victory it for an ungodly amount. This now will force the damage through. I can search for my card first, so I can have Illumina, at least at minimum. And since I draw, this gives me the ability to at least have like the Manitou Gallantry Gold, or maybe like if it's, I don't know, take flight. It gives me the ability to take flight and go even deeper into the chain. Like, this does a lot of stuff. And one of the nice things you can again do is just force interaction, kind of like I said earlier. It's just a lot of people are scared about on-hit effects, regardless of how much damage is going through. Literally, coming in for 1 draw card will force a card out of people's hand a lot of the time, because it doesn't feel good. So, just allowing your opponent just to draw a card does not feel good. And if you have the ability to stop it, your opponent a lot of times will try to stop it. So just being like, Blue Bolt of Courage, coming in for 1 on hit draw card, your opponent will be like, and you'll get a free card from their hand. If not, you draw a card and you get closer to your combo. It is a win-win almost every single time. One of the best cards in the whole entire deck. And that is why we run Rainbow. Next, we have Rainbow Engulfing Light. This card's really good early, rather than late, unless you're setting up for a big Beacon of Victory. So the on-hit is kind of like not huge, just allows you to put 2 cards in a row. This basically allows you to just put 2 cards in your soul. So a lot of the times, people just be like, sure, I'll take it. It's not really threatening me a whole lot. So this is an easy way you can get a lot of chip damage in. And again, it's just a charge card, so at the end of the day, we are going to play Rainbow of it, because we just need a massive card to charge. But be able to charge 2 cards, well, not charge 2 cards, but 2 cards and so on a turn is really big. So we will always be playing Rainbow Engulfing Light. We will play Rainbow Take Flight. You can notice a pattern here. Our charge cards are pretty good, and we need the most amount of ways to charge. So we're playing Rainbow Take Flight. Rainbow Take Flight, it's pretty good. The big thing with Take Flight is playing them later rather than early. You'll commonly see me pitch Take Flights rather than playing them early. So after I combo out, my opponent's at like 9 or 10 or something, this gives me a very, very easy path to close out the game, because I can start attacking multiple times in a turn. Especially if they give me attack action cards, sometimes this can just get over their attack sometime, which is even better. But having natural go again is probably the biggest thing. in this deck. Because we're not playing a lot of attack reactions like a Dorinthia or like a Switch Boltyn, we're not going to get the constant multiple attacks on turn. So this just having natural go again is really nice for us to see. And yeah, we're able to take flight. We're not running the third yellow, but I do like 3 red, 2 yellow. Going forward, I might actually just put the third yellow in there, just to make sure we have a charge card in our hand. I haven't done a Hypogeo magic calculator, but I still do think it's I think it's like 80 something in the 80s. I want to say percent chance to have a charge card in your opening hand, and I just want to be able to maximize that. Obviously, so adding the third yellow Express Lightning might be where I go. I just got this idea of just allowed to run only the 2, as it doesn't really have any beneficial effect outside of just being a charge. It's just vanilla damage that usually will just come through. The red one, however, is pretty nice because it's 0 for 4. If someone blocks it's now coming in for 5, which is pretty freaking good. It usually will only do like 1 or 2 damage with that, but I think you're very, very satisfied with that. It's on pretty good rate. Express Lightning, just generically okay. That's all the charge cards. Next, we just have our damage cards. We will run 3 Celestial Cataclysm. Oh, I'm sorry, these are the poppers. No, these are not the poppers. I have lost my spot in my deck tech. This is awkward. Oh yeah, these over here. I had this video, like I originally was gonna have poppers next. That's what the issue is. 3 Celestial Cataclysm. One of the best cards in the deck, only because it's a 0 for 7 with Go Again. More oftentimes than not, there's a low opportunity cost of playing this in the mid to late game because you have a high density of cards in arsenal. So this is a card you do want to pitch early to get at the bottom of your deck so you can eventually see it again after you post combo. Playing this early, unless you just really just have the nuts and just have like 1,000 cards in so. I don't really like doing this unless specifically I'm against like a Briar or something and I need to try to get cards out of their hand, so I'll attack with this, then attack with something else. But because most of it's dealt vanilla damage, I'll probably just take it and not care. So this is pretty nice when it comes to damage. This is exactly how I've actually closed out a lot of games with Celestial Cataclysm. Be able to just to go attack, they block it, give it go again, coming for 7, and they're just like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna die now. Pretty nice. Again, it's way above rate, and the opportunity cost is low in the mid to late game. Again, just wouldn't really play it early unless you just do the nuts or you just desperately need to push damage. This does double as a popper, which is why I did get a little bit confused. Which is really nice against Dromai. This can kill every single dragon they have, including Uvia, which is probably one of the harder things for you to get over is Uvia, because it has a 6 butt. And just being able to send this at it, kill it, and then have go again, so have another turn. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. We have Illuminate. So originally I wasn't very high on this card going in the tournament. Then I kind of understood what the purpose of this card is. Because there's a Boltyn player at my locals. He doesn't primarily play Boltyn, but he owns Boltyn. And then me and him were both talking about this. And I was like, I don't know any matchup where I'd rather play Illuminate over any other card. I was like, there's no reason for me to play this. This card is bad. But then at the Battle Hardened, I understood it because I actually just started sighting it in. And I understand what this is. So this is, because it doesn't have charge, it looks worse than it is. But this is just a 0 for 4 with an on-hit effect. It has a phantom on-hit effect. So it does have an actual on-hit effect where it goes to soul. But realistically, like, this is just a 0 for 4. And because people are like, oh, why don't I want him putting cards in the soul? A lot of times I'll just block this. And you're just like, cool. Realistically, this is only in against aggro decks. This can be in against certain Guardian decks. I do prefer other cards in the Guardian decks, but if you're just coming for 4, if any of it hits, just goes to soul, or if you get a card or 2 out of their hand, you're completely satisfied. This gets equipment, you're really satisfied. Because again, this is not the best card, especially on rate. Because you're not charging, you don't get the benefit of Boltyn if they block. It gets pumping, give it go again. You don't have that. Um, but if this is able to get through, you're very, very happy. We have 2 Valorant Thrust. This is a card that I got to attack with a lot, and I was super excited. This is another card that you are pitching early to be able to play later. This is just a 0 for 7/8. And if I told, oh, sorry, 1. If I told you this card was a 1 for 7, you'd be like, why wouldn't you play this card? And that's exactly why we play it. The really nice thing is because it naturally pumped itself, you don't have to worry about them blocking because you can just naturally activate Boltyn with it and attack again. So this gives you like a swing with like take flight, to like pitch a blue card, take flight, play Valiant Guard, swing with sabers, and just give you a high damage turn for very low cost actually. Just pitching a blue can give you a very high damage turn with this card. There's one route. Josh Law plays it, so I tried it out. I never actually found myself playing it. I understand why it's in the deck. It is there to be able to close out late game. It's just this card just feels so medium a lot of times. It just feels like this is a card I'm putting in my SO, or this is a card I'm just pitching, because there's no, I don't have a use for it. But I understand like why you would register this card. I do think I am going to take it out of the deck in favor of other cards. I still don't know what those cards are yet. One card I'm thinking about is Sift. I know I talked to Sam Dando, and he was asking me about Sift. And I'm actually might take a few cards out of this deck to play Sith, and this is one card I might actually cut for it. But we did register route. Next, we have our defensive package. We have 3 Sink Below, 3 Fate Persane, 3 Soul Shield. This gives Boltyn just even more of a fridge, and another really good thing that this does is these cards specifically right here allow us to dig deeper into our deck. This card actively allows us to draw cards. This allows us just to get rid of bad cards. So, like the favorite scene, if you see a bad card, like a sort of generic card, put it on the bottom. This can be like, I have a trash card in my hand I don't want, or it's a red, I would really look for a yellow or blue. I could sink it below and try to see if I can fish for one. And they're being 0 for 4 blocks is really, really nice. Allows us to cheat a lot of breakpoints. The big thing with social like, obviously the 6 butt is really freaking good, but it also goes to so at the end of the combat chain, and I think if you ever play Boltyn, just being able to go block for 6, take no damage from something, and then have it go to so, it's just like, it is just so nice, man. It is just, it does literally everything you're wanting. I think the only thing you would like maybe is to cost less, but like a 2 for 6 is own rate, it's fine, and it goes to so just adds on more value. So yeah, there is Soul Shield. Next we have our combo cards. We have Beacon of Victory and Luminous Ascension. For those I will explain the combo, but I'll first explain what these are here for. This is how we primarily will win the game, even if it doesn't win us on the spot. This will theoretically win this game. So obviously Luminous Ascension is the main combo card, but ways that we can get it is because you're always not going to have 2 in hand. So Beacon of Victory can only search for it. The reason why is if you have charged this turn, you can search your deck for an action card with X or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. You always have to at least banish 1, but the cool thing, this costs 0, so this will always be a target for it. Beacon of Victory, just be able to get this on demand. Also pumping your stuff, because what this can do is you can just be coming for a vanilla attack. Beacon of Victory, give it +1. Banish a card, and as long as you have another card in so you can banish that card. Now getting to go again. So this just does a lot for a very low cost. A lot of times you are finding Luminous Ascensions. So what this combo is, I will explain the combo real quick for you guys. Is primarily we're going to be playing at least 2 Luminous Ascensions on a turn. So Luminous Ascension, long story short, just to shorten this down, as long as you've charged this turn, you can attack with your weapon additional times. So playing this twice, you get 3 weapon attacks. So if you play the third, 4 weapon attacks. They plus it by +1 for the turn, and if it ever hits, if you ever you'll flip the top. You'll flip. Well, what we do is we flip the top card. You'll reveal the top card of your library for each one. If it's a light card, it goes in so and you gain a life. So that's pretty much how the combo works. You're gonna attack them multiple times with these sabers that are already pumped. So obviously you can banish cards from Soda Boltyn and give them go again. You'll hit. You'll gain life. You'll start removing cards from your deck, which can get you to some of the stuff you've set up earlier in the turn, and you can just pump out a lot of damage with this. And yeah, that's the combo. Pretty simplified there. That's the reason why we run a lot of. That's why we run these D reacts here, is just so we can reach them faster. And one of the hidden abilities about charge a lot of people underestimate, and why it's actually really, it is card disadvantage. Don't get me wrong, you lose cards, but this allows you to get cards in your hand, so you can draw more cards and you can get your combo faster. That is one thing a lot of people don't consider when they just think about charge. They're like, oh, you just lose cards in your hand. Yeah, that is definitely true, but now I don't actually have to actively be able to use these cards to draw more cards. So any way to see this is obviously more the merrier. That is our combo cards. Next we have our poppers. Besides the Social Cataclysm that we do have, we do run Invigorating Light and Bolting Blade. There was a time period, and I changed it right before the tournament actually started. I was running through Erase Face in here. The reason I took Erase Face out is, looking at my average play pattern, it's not something I wanted to do early. I want to max myself. I want to maximize being able to charge, and a lot of times I just wasn't able to do that. And because we do run a decent amount of reds, if my hand is ever red card Erase Face, it just feels bad. There's also only certain decks we really want to Erase Face anyway. So we're able to give more slots to cards that we desperately need them in against, like the cards in these piles. This pile right here is why we couldn't run Erase Face, but I think 9 poppers is fine. And they do double as something. Primarily, Invigorating Light is only there as a popper. It has an effect if you play, if there's no cards in your So, you put it in your host, so when the combat chain closes, like, we're going to have cards in So this is just a 3 for 6, which is not great. And it only blocks for 2. Bolting Blade is a card that I do want to try to get more use out of, and I think I misused this card a lot. So this is obviously just a regular popper. It can get through Parable. Obviously, Prism's gone, but this was a card that was able to get through Parable. Unlike Invigorating Light. But what this says is, if you've charged this turn, and obviously if you have go again, this is now going to be a 2 for 7. So it's pretty much another Valiant Thrust. And I actually really attacked this card, because I felt like this card was too clunky, and I was definitely wrong. There obviously are times where you're not going to really be able to pay the 2 to be able to do this. But I definitely think there are opportunities for people to do it. You just have to understand when they are. But I do still think, more oftentimes than not, you are just using this as a popper and using this as a damage card unless it's late, or it's gonna kill like a Nuvi or something. I think using this as an attack is wrong, but using this as a popper is correct. That's why I have in this section. But yeah, I do want to see more opportunities where I can actually use it for damage. But that's obviously going to come with more time playing. Next, we have 2 time stop potions. So the time stop potions is actually what I took out for the Erase Face. And before the tournament, I rewatched Josh Lyle's Boltyn deck tech, and I now am so glad I put this in. So I never actually popped it and needed it, but the sole fact that I had it saved me so much heartache. So the reason why both these cards are really good against the Ice matchup is, if someone tries to blizzard you, you have 2 ways of getting past it. You can pay the 2 by cracking this, or you can what's it called? Before your turn or before anything starts, crack time stop potion. You have 2 action points. It's pretty freaking nice. Especially when it comes to energy potion, what I really like is against Odom, he's probably going to be playing Stalagmite into you. So being able to crack 2, in response to like the trigger, you have the frostbite and then be able to pay the one that will allow you to combo off. Because like the worst thing you want is to go to combo off with Boltyn. You got everything going. You do your first attack, he goes block with Slackmite, and you have no cards in hand, no floating, and you're like, well, I can't pay the one, so my turn is now over. So just this as an assurance policy is nice. I would actually value playing these out over charging if given the opportunity. Just because how important they are. And I played this like turn 2 against what's it called? A Odom. Literally the next thing I seen him pitch up Blizzard. He arsenal one, then crowned it away. Because he knew it was like the Blizzard's not going to affect me. And then he played Slagmite, and then I played this. He blocked with Slagmite, but he just said, yeah, you're just gonna crack time energy push. I'm like, yeah. So this allows you to play almost disruption. Obviously the same thing goes for Icelander. Icelander's a little bit harder because of the timing, she can do everything. You're really, if you just break the time snap potion and then she starts to disrupt you, you can probably still break. Not break. You can still have a dud turn. Maybe just popping this first, getting her disruption, then using extra mana that you would have had to pay for her taxes. It's okay. The Icelander matchup is super hard no matter what, because obviously she can dictate when you get disrupted and make it inconvenient for you. So a lot of times you can't do your combo and like do Gouger Goad. You kind of just have to have mana floating, or you just have to keep a card in hand. That's where we're at for that, but I think these are necessary cards to run. That's going to be the deck tech. Obviously, just like the Lexi video, we will be coming out a part 2, which will be some tips and tricks and a sideboard guide. So hopefully look forward to that. Overall, Boltyn treated me well this weekend. Boltyn was a hero that I built, played a lot of games with, went and defeated a couple armories, and I was just like, whatever, it's just Boltyn. I'm not going to take it that serious. And then today really opened my eyes, and then hearing a lot of people just like excited to see me play and ask me questions and all stuff and want to see like the deck. It does mean, obviously I was never going to take it apart, but it makes me do want to play it more, obviously. And take the deck a little bit more serious, like really try to break down deck theory when it comes to Boltyn, and see where I can gain edges in matchups where I didn't originally know if I could add any percentage points. Super excited to play this going forward, and being known as the people's Boltyn, man, I do gotta put it on for the city, man. I gotta start making my Boltyn boys proud of me. So that's gonna be the video. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys like, favorite, and subscribe. Comment down below. Your feedback is always appreciated. I'll see you guys next time, and say it with me. All my homies say illusionist. Peace out.